What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Zoe with No Days Off DFS, here to bring you that WNBA slate breakdown for the New York Liberty taking on the Minnesota Lynx in the Commissioner's Cup. We finally have the Cup game. It is Cup game day. After no WNBA yesterday and just having a full week straight of nothing but WNBA games, felt a little weird just to have the day off yesterday and nothing really to watch and tune into. But tonight, we actually have a very high stake game. And if you guys don't know or understand what the Commissioner Cup is, I will explain that later on in this video. Definitely stay tuned for that. If you guys are new here, make sure you guys go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And don't forget to drop a like on this video. If this video or any of my other videos have helped you guys win some money, you definitely do not want to miss it. Putting out some pretty good content over here on the channel. Speaking of content, my last prop video that I put out, we swept the board. So if you guys were able to tune in, catch that, you definitely were able to make some money over there on Prize Picks or Underdog, depending on which site you actually play your prop plays on. So if you guys want to see more videos like that, make sure you guys subscribe so you don't miss any of that right there. And without further ado, let's go ahead. Let's get into this. Now, I'm not going to do a recap. I know I've been gone for the last 3 days, took the weekend off, of course, and then, of course, no games on Monday. But the only thing that I will say is hashtag fire Tanisha Wright. That's it. That's the rant. I know in my Discord, they were saying they were waiting for the rant for me in my next video, but that's going to be it. It's been too long. I'm not going to beat the dead horse. We already know how I feel. I've been blasting it on Twitter. Atlanta Dream, you have to do something. You have to. Point blank fucking period. You have to do something. But yeah, going into the injury report for today for the Minnesota Lynx, nothing that we have to worry about for them. It's the same old, same old. Diamond Miller come back from that knee surgery that she had. For the New York Liberty, this is the one that's going to matter. And I personally do not think you can go ahead and make lines to set yourself up to get ready for the different options of what can come down and happen down the pipeline. But I really don't feel like we're going to be able to truly build any lines until we get the news of whether or not if Slate and if Laney are going to actually play today, if they're going to be in the starting lineup, and what's going on with that. That is very key news for us on today's slate. Outside of that, the only other thing is that Baby Sabally is still going to be out for today's game. Other than that, nothing really to report. I don't know why Sabrina is grayed out right here, showing that she's a toss-up, but she should be playing. I have not seen anything that indicates otherwise that she's not going to be playing today. Heading over to DraftKings, the site that I play the most on. If you guys don't got an account, you want one, check the link down in the description below so you guys can get that deposit match bonus and join your boy over here on the King. We have a 10K to first, $15 entry showdown. Definitely a way for you guys to get different. I know they have a couple of the tickets going up for the qualifier for the Big Queen of the Court later on. So some advantages, some different things that you guys can go ahead and play and get into today. And we're going to go over a couple of strategies and different ways for us to look at playing on today's slate. Now, first things first, going into it, Commissioner's Cup. It is a big game. It is big for these ladies in the WNBA. There is a $500,000 prize pool for them for whichever team actually wins. For the W, I understand for athletes, stuff like that. Why would they care about that? But if you guys ever pay attention to the salaries for the WNBA, it is pretty much pennies to the dime, literally. So this big prize pool is something that means a lot to these women. They definitely want to go ahead and go out there and pretty much get this bonus, so you know that they will come out here and play. Hopefully, we do not have a blowout like what we did last year for last year's Commissioner's Cup with the Aces and New York Liberty. New York Liberty were making it back-to-back years. Liberty blew them out. It was like 82 to 60 something. It was truly actually a blowout of a game. But hopefully this game can actually be more competitive because the Lynx, very good defensive team. New York, a good defensive team as well. But both of these teams, they have good offenses. Now, I understand that they did play early in the season, and the Lynx, they blew out the Liberty. But the Liberty, that was when they were stinking. Still just trying to figure out some things, just gel, get back into a rhythm and a flow and everything. So hopefully we can see a much better game in this second matchup pretty much for them. And definitely the upside should be there in regards to it. So we understand players going to play. With that being said, of the fact that this is almost like a championship game for them, pretty much, I would fully expect the starters to play 35, 38 minutes, unless somehow this game blows out. I do not honestly predict or see this being able to be a blowout, so I'm not even going to worry about that. So right now, every starter on both sides, minus Alana Smith, would be the only one that I would think would not touch about 32 minutes in this game, just because of her matchup and what she has going up against JJ, the foul trouble that she can get herself into. That would be the only one. And it goes vice versa for JJ, because JJ can get herself into foul trouble, but she's done pretty well with that over the last several games. Now, outside of that, I'm going to go ahead, break down, look at the Minnesota Lynx. Real quick, almost forgot. Looking at it for a showdown slate, you guys have to go into this just thinking about it. what is the way that I think this game is going to go? How do I picture and envision that this game is going to go? Who do I think is going to win? Because a couple of things that I've done looking into showdown slates, things like that. Typically, the captain spot, the MVP spot, whatever you want to call it, that person that is in that slot is normally on the winning team. 8 out of 10, the person in that captain spot came from the winning team. Another thing, the 4-2 combination, which is 4 plays from one team, 2 from the other team, or a 3-3 combination, has won about 80% of the season so far. And last but not least, typically inside that captain spot, I have found that the point guard or the power forward slash center has made it into the captain spot as well. So a couple little tidbits that you guys can use to build out your lines, figure out how exactly it is that you want to build, work, or go with this. And maybe if you're doing multiple lines, set some rules or things like that for you if you are trying to get a guideline and a gauge for this. I will say that the value plays like the Olivia Upapi, or however you say her name, maybe 1 out of 10 so far this season have been like just that random value play that has made it into the captain spot and all the studs or something like that. But it has been very, very, very rare where you will see the crazy value play be the optimal play and you have all the other players. So just a couple of things to go off of and just to think about as you're building out your lines, and just think about how you want to actually do this, because I know we don't want to split 10K. We want to get the 10K all to ourselves. All right, so first thing, going over to the Minnesota Lynx side, looking at them. All the starters are in play. I will say Alana Smith, she will be the lower tier for me in regards to starter. I understand she's coming off a pretty good game going up against Brittany Griner, which I would not have imagined that she would actually be able to go out there and do that. Would have thought she would have got herself in foul trouble, but she shot very well from three, which is the same thing that she did in that first game going up against New York. 3 of 3 from three, but she only played 21 minutes in that game, 18.25 fantasy points. I think the big difference in those two games right there was the fact that in this game she actually had 2 blocks, and they looked to facilitate with her. 5 assists. That was definitely something that they actually did in that game. I can imagine that maybe that could be a game plan that they can go into here in today's game with her, because she's not going to have the advantage down low. The Liberty, they're actually pretty good inside the paint in regards to, just deterring those type of shots. Alana will have to be out on the perimeter and actually knocking down those threes in order to have some type of impact, because she's not going to be able to go in there and get those little lay-ins or things like that she would normally be able to go in and get. Now, outside of that, besides Alana, of course, Kayla McBride will be in play. Courtney Williams is in play. Carlton is definitely in play. Nice, sneaky one I think could possibly go over under owned, and maybe as the day goes on, people build, they might find their way onto her, because when Carlton's on, she's a very good player. She just needs to be able to go out here and knock down her three. Now, we've seen it in the game going up against Atlanta. 4 or 5 from 3, 28.5 fantasy points, 25, 28. So it's definitely there for her and in her arsenal to be able to go out here and do that. Against New York in that first game, she dropped 27.5 fantasy points in that game alone. So the upside is definitely there for her, especially if the shot is actually going to be able to fall. Now, sneakily played to me, and the main 2 plays that I would look to if I am going to the captain spot. One, of course, is Fee. I'm not going to beat that with a dead horse. We know who Fee is. We know she's pretty much the leader of this team. She's going to go out there. More than likely, if the game is close, she's going to play all 40 minutes. She's going to be out there on the court. Nothing else needs to be said about Fee. Like, Fee is Fee. If New York can shut down Fee, then that means someone else is going to have to get loose and get going. That's where you can go into with the game theory. Okay, if they're putting all this focus on Fee, Kayla McBride has to be having a good game. Carlson has to be having a good game. Courtney Williams, who I think might be slept on because of the inconsistency with her minutes. But this is a game where you're going to have to play Courtney Williams. I don't see any way around not playing Courtney Williams unless you really feel like they're going to trust Heidemann to be able to come out here, who is very, 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 very inconsistent with her shot. So inconsistent, undersized. If I'm New York, I see you put Heidemann out there. Laney, you're going at Heidemann. Thornton, if you're out there on the court, you're going at Heidemann. I'm getting some type of screen or switch, and I'm putting Stewie to back her down and destroy her out there on that court. I would much rather have Courtney Williams, who is a pesky defender, who actually can rack up those steals for me as well, facilitate the ball very well, and is a very good rebounder on top of all that. And I know can actually go in there and get a bucket in the mid-range as well. And when Courtney Williams is on, she is on. We just seen in the last game, 12 points, 9 rebounds. Didn't have her typical 6 to 7 assist game, but Courtney Williams is legit triple-double upside when she's on the court, along with the fact that she can go out there and get us some of these extra stock stats. So the upside for Courtney Williams, if I'm having to go with 2 players from the Minnesota Lynx as my captain plays, it will be Fee, and then it'll be Courtney Williams. And then third tier, I would say Kayla McBride, because Kayla McBride will have to have an impeccable game for them to honestly truly stay in this. In the first game when they played going up against New York Liberty, she actually played very well in the game. 34 minutes, dropped 32.75 fantasy points. Not bad at all for Kayla McBride. And this will go hand in hand when we go to New York breakdown in regards to who's actually going to be out there in the court. If Sloot is back, Sloot might be a step slow. I know that they're ramping up her conditioning. They're trying to get her back into game shape, things like that. So more than likely, I would imagine Courtney Williams should draw that Sloot assignment, that Sloot defense over there, while Kayla McBride is on Sabrina, and so on and so forth. So Courtney Williams should be able to bust some ass out there and actually go out there and have a decent game. Now, I understand the first game that they played against New York, she only played 24 minutes in that game, 3 or 7 from the floor, 5 assists, 4 rebounds, 1 block, 7 points. That's it. 20 points still. Not bad. 24 minutes, I will take that. Now, if you go out there and you give me the 35 to 30 plus minutes, I believe Courtney Williams can actually go out here and play. I do believe she has 35, close to 40 fantasy point upside for her on today's slate. And I definitely still, I can play Courtney Williams and get crazy down here, take Carlton, Kayla McBride, or something like that, if I believe that fee doubled or they're trying to shut down fee in this game. That would be just a thought process that I would use if I'm actually building out and building my lines like that. I'm just gonna touch on this, but over here for the rest of the Minnesota Lynx side, I really do not see this being a game where we have to worry about Olivia being in this game, Cone, and Peely. None of those players should touch the court. I do believe the rotation will, of course, consist of Dorka, just for the fact that she is gonna have to go in there and deal with JJ. 6'6" is a bit much to pay for her, but I do see her having to get the minutes and actually playing in this game. She played 17 minutes in the first matchup that they played, 14.5 fantasy points. I would see her and Smith more than likely splitting the time that they're out there at that center position. So Dorka would be in play. Definitely someone that you can mix into your pool. Heidemann, I am personally out on Heidemann. I am not going to play her. I will be completely fading Heidemann. If Heidemann somehow beats me, I will accept it. I will take it. I will buy a Heidemann jersey if she is in the winning lineup. I will buy a Heidemann jersey. Like that's how much I am fading her. I have no faith in anything that Heidemann will do here in this game. Outside of that, Xanalis, I'll say that she's still getting steady minutes. She's still out there. First game going up against New York, she played 11 minutes, 11.5 fantasy points. Pretty much a fantasy point per minute. Production has not really been there for her over the last several games. She should still see the time out there on the court. I will say that she will be probably one of the more owned value plays because people are going to come down here and lock that in. Now, if you get everything else right in your line, probably wouldn't kill you. As long as she goes out here and doesn't get you a 0, gets you a 5. There is a route to just go ahead and just take the 1K for Peely. No, Peely's not going to get on the court. Or same thing with Cone. And just take the 0 if you can build out the rest of your line. That is one strategy that you can do. I've seen it win maybe once or twice before. I haven't seen it all this season yet. But that's definitely an option that you can actually take if you want to go that route. Now, over here on the New York Liberty side, Laney, I fully expect for Laney to play. Laney, whenever you read the commentation and when I was watching some of the post game pressures and things like that from Sandy, it just seems like this was precautionary to keep her out until the Commissioner's Cup. Like they just wanted to make sure that she was good. I don't see any reason why they don't go ahead and stir her back into the starting lineup, give her back a role, everything so on and so forth. So that will put Phoebus back to the bench. Sloot, on the other hand, is the one that I question because just the way that this team has been gelling without Sloot being out there, I truly do question, am I going to bring Sloot back into the starting lineup? If Sloot starts, I honestly will have some consideration for her because, I mean, if anyone's ever lost a family member, someone that really means a lot to you, it can go one of two ways. She's either going to come out here, ball out, give this game to her mother. Like, I can see that 10,000%. See a ceiling Sloot game dedicated to her mother. Or it messes with her, she's doing too much, and she doesn't have a good game. That's what I'm saying. It's a tale of two tales. I would have, if Sloot plays and she starts, I might have two lineups where I have Sloot in one, Sloot not in the other one. But she would just have to be in consideration, not necessarily a main primary piece. If she is back, I will say that kind of bumps down Sabrina to me. It bumps down the big three, honestly, for JJ, Stewie, and Sabrina if Sloot is back, just because the ball is not going to be in Sabrina's hands. And we've seen an uptick in the assists for every single one of these players. Everybody actually in the starting lineup with Sloot not being there. And honestly, Sabrina, without Sloot, the assist numbers have been crazy. And that'll be a real big hit, I believe, to her pretty much 40 plus fantasy points in 5 straight games. That's just been bonkers from Sabrina. Just the shooting, everything that she's been able to go out there and do over her last several games, it's been pretty big. Now, I will say Brianna Stewart. I do believe that, of course, she's gonna have to deal with Fee, but first game going up again, 33 minutes, she dropped 48.25 fantasy points in a blowout. The way that the Lynx defend out there, they try to go ahead and clog the paint. Don't let you get too much down there. I imagine that they would more than likely double JJ, because if they know JJ gets shaken loose and going, they're gonna be in for a long night right there. Stewie could see and have to carry a little bit more of an offensive load. Now, she's been on over the last 2 games, 6 of 9 from the field, 12 of 19 from the field in these 2 games. Definitely got it going after the stinker versus the Sparks in the first one. 64.75 fantasy points and 45 fantasy points. This could be, of course, a Stewie game where she has to step up and she plays pretty big. She's already played pretty good going against Lynx early this season. I don't mind Stewie, of course, MVP captain slot if I am going to go ahead and take one from over here. Now, the only other player that I would actually consider for MVP and captain over here, and this all dictates whether or not if Sloot is in or out. Sabrina, of course, would be my other consideration for the MVP captain. It all just depends on whether or not if Sloot is in or out. Now, outside of that, Thornton in play if she still has to play in the starting lineup. If not, more of a lean for me. I understand that the rotation is still going to be pretty thin at the forward position because of the fact that you don't have Baby Sabally and everyone else's guards except for Thornton out there. So Thornton still mid-tier option. Definitely can go out here and play up inside one of these type of games right here. Going up against the Minnesota early this season, 7 minutes, 3.25. She's still a very low fantasy point per minute producer. So I would just take her into consideration. More interest in her if she starts. If she doesn't, more of a lean. I will say that Phoebus and Dozic, they both should actually see minutes over Burks and Davis. I would not expect either one of these guys really to touch the court. If they're on the court, something horribly has gone wrong. Something has gone wrong. Phoebus, Dozic, really no lean here. I guess if Phoebus actually still starts, if she's actually knocking down the shots and still getting her peripherals, she can go out there and give you a decent game. In all honesty, 19 minutes, 13.75 fantasy points in that game. So not bad. Would like it if she starts, if I'm paying that much for her. If she's not starting, then of course I don't mind just coming out here to Ivana. 2 minutes in the game going up against Minnesota, only 1 fantasy points. But last several games, 25, 25, 17 minutes, 19, 7, 7, 7.5. So pretty much kind of the same boat that it gives you whenever it comes down to, am I going to play Xenia Linus or am I going to play Ivana? That's literally what you're looking at. Not going with anything below Xanda. That's how I see it and what I would play out right there. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That is the breakdown for this. Go in with your game theory. Go in with game theory whenever you're going into this. Envision how you see this game going, what you see that the opposing team is going to be able to do. Just come up with different scenarios. Write them down. Figure out, okay, cool. What makes this work? What makes this work? And just build from there. And I'll have a core. I will have my player pool up. All that will be posted on the Patreon tonight. If you guys are looking for that, as always, it is down in the description below. The Patreon, it's only $5. I promise you will make that back within your first week. Definitely check that out if you guys are looking to make some bread. Check back later on. I should have a prop video. I will look as they add more stuff up on the board. I definitely will get that up for you guys. If I see some stuff that actually sticks out and looks like good plays, I'll get that posted for you guys. With it being said, good luck. Hopefully someone takes down that 10K. See you guys, not Wednesday, Thursday. Peace.